There's a great book by David Allen called Getting Things Done. And he talks about there's 4 Ds that you want to start getting in the habit. Because success is nothing more but habits that are stacked. It's all about habits, guys. Habit is something I could do unconsciously. It's just like automatic, right? So get in the habit of applying these 4 Ds. Write these down. If a task, an idea, or something that you need to do, or you should do, because it will further you along the path, if it takes under 2 minutes, you should do it. That's the first D. Do it right away. You should not even write it down. How many people keep lists? To-do list. Okay, it's very good. Calendars, that's very good. It's very good. Yeah, don't trust your brain for anything. The brain is not designed to store information. In fact, people that walk around with a busy brain, because they're thinking, oh, did I do this? Did I do? They're missing the downloads from God. Like, boom, there's $1 billion, you missed it because you're thinking about groceries. Don't forget, the peanut butter. Like, your brain is not designed for that. So I would recommend you keep multiple lists, because we got to make it real world, right? Sometimes it's good to have a written list where I can just write things down. Good old-fashioned notebook. But that notebook's not going to be with me everywhere, right? So I just try to get it to where I'm least thinking about it, and I get it out of my mind. I'll take a picture of my notebook, of to-do list. Now I got a picture. So when I'm at Publix, oh, I remember that. I also got one in my voice notes memo, in my iPhone, notes memo. And I use the microphone. A new idea comes, or something I need to do. Call Thomas, Monday morning, urgent. Call Thomas, Monday morning. Like, I'll just talk to it, and there's a voice memo that gets recorded. Because is it quicker to talk or type? Talk. Yeah, it's much quicker. I press a button, a microphone button, and then it gets recorded, right? So, if an idea comes to you of something you need to do and it takes you under 2 minutes, what should you do? You should do it right away. You should not even put it on one of your lists. You should do it right away. You'll feel better about it yourself. Then you're in the motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion, right? So you're in the doing phase already. Tony Robbins says, never leave the sight of a goal without taking one action towards its attainment. That's the power of doing one small thing. If I have a goal to start working out, and the only thing I do is put my workout shoes by my bed, so I see them, even though I might not have the motivation, I did one thing. Next day I might just put them on, but I'm not leaving the house. I'm just going to put my workout shoes on. All of a sudden, now I went a little bit further. In sales, they call this the monkey paw, Sandler technique. Ever heard of it? The monkey paw. If the monkey can just put the paw just this much, pretty soon he'll climb his way into the window. All we need is a little monkey paw to climb towards the mountaintop of our goals. We need to go a little bit at a time. A lot of people, they will have unrealistic deadlines for their goals. They'll just, I got to do this by this. I do believe in SMART goals. You should set deadlines, but be flexible. Did you know that an airplane is off course most of the time? Like 90% of the time it's off course. So there's so much flexibility. Success is messy. It's not linear at all. You ever heard of saying like, ready, aim, fire? It's not like that. It's more like fire, ready, aim. A lot of times we don't keep our commitments. it erodes at our self-esteem. Man, I know I should have done this. I didn't do it. I didn't show up. You're lying to yourself. Of course you're not going to feel confident. You're walking around with all this baggage, right? So the first D, do it right away if it's under 2 minutes. The second D, if it's something that is a big project that you can't do right now, maybe you want to build a house. Well, you can't just start building a house. It doesn't work like that. So you want to defer it. But when you defer it, you want to write down what's the next action that I could take. What's the next best move towards its attainment? See what we're doing? We're breaking it down to tiny little bricks by bricks by bricks. This is how you build a house, one brick at a time. So what's the next brick towards its attainment? So number 2, you defer it. And you defer it, and you put down what's the next best action that I could take towards its attainment. And sometimes we don't know what the best action is. Okay? So then I want you to do a brainstorm. What are all the possible actions that I could take towards this? I could join this group, I could show this meetup, I could call this business, I could, I can do things, make a list. And then from that list, what do you think is the best action? Or the best 2 to 3 actions? Right? So you defer it, but you don't just defer it into space. You defer it with an attached series of actions that you could take. Just think 2 to 3 bricks that I could just lay towards building this house. Right? That's how success is done. 2 to 3 bricks at a time. I usually don't try to juggle more than 3 things. I'll just put 3 things in front of me on the front burners, and I'm just tackling these 3 things. No more than that, because that's too much. But also no less than that, because that's too little. I found that to be a sweet spot. I can do 3 things at once. Now, there is a time for deep work, and we just want to zone in. So I'm just going to zone in on this activity right here. But what if I'm waiting for a reply on an email? Well, I'm just going to surf YouTube? I got 2 other projects going on, right? So that's how there's no dead time. Now, I'll tell you guys a secret. One of the things that you want to do is start predicting how long you think something's going to take you. I think this is packing my suitcase for this trip. I don't feel like packing, but I think it's probably going to take me about 14 minutes. Okay? Start the stopwatch, and then don't look at it. People are drawn in by curiosity. So in this whole time, the stopwatch is going, but you close the phone and you're packing, and you're kind of racing against yourself. Like, man, can I do this in 14 minutes? I thought it was going to take me 14 minutes. Let me see. Maybe I could do it faster, and I got a good story to tell. Then you look, it's like, oh, damn, it took me 22 minutes. But you just got it done. You just got it done. A little game like that, before you know it, it's done. Right? And you also got momentum now. Now you feel like you got that appetite to work. Right? We have a saying in Romania. I'm originally from Romania. And the saying is, foamea vine mâncând, which means the hunger will come after you start eating. Right? So we're talking about the second D, which is defer it, but attach to it 2 to 3 bricks that will move you closer towards its attainment. Is this making sense? Right? And then the third D is we want to get other parties involved. So if it's an activity that you can't do by yourself, and that's usually, I would say 90% of activities require some input from other people. You want to delegate. Either delegate the whole thing or delegate parts of it. So that's the third D, is delegate it. And again, referencing that book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, he says that a good leader is a good manager of time, resources, and people. So a good leader is a good manager of what? Time, resources, and people. Right? So you want to be in a place where you can delegate. You guys see the importance of being a good public speaker? Because you can just delegate things. If you're able to communicate effectively, then you're able to delegate effectively. That's the power of communication skills and why we want to constantly hone in on this. And look, it's something we've been doing since we were young, since the age of 2. But we can never sharpen enough our communication skills. When you got up here, just in a couple of minutes, you started to make some observations. That's because you left the dock, you left the seat, right? A lot of these changes won't happen just by reading about it or writing about it, right? I can't read about push-ups. I gotta just do them, right? So get in the habit of delegating. There's something I call Vegas money. Vegas money. If I have a project for a new idea, I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw Vegas money at this. What do I mean by that? Well, I say, okay, I need a website for this. If I just threw $100 at it without any expectation, detached from any outcome, it might work, it might not. Maybe somebody will do it. Now, I go to places like Fiverr, Fiverr.com. There's the world's greatest talent for pennies on the dollar from across the world. You've heard about it? Mm-hmm. So it's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing if I ask you, do you have a Fiverr account? Have you used it?
Yes.
Okay, good. Which is good. A lot of people, they never done that. I built my whole business on Fiverr. So I know the power of delegating, and also delegating, I think, wisely, right? So Vegas money is money that you don't care if you blow. In fact, it's designed to blow. If I go to Vegas, I better have a nice weekend in Vegas. And this $500, I'm using it for the slots. This is not money I better not keep it in my pocket, because that means I was boring. I gotta use it to tell a story. Then I got a story. Oh, yeah, we were up, then then the drinks came, and all that stuff. Like, you got a story now. That's Vegas money. It's designed to blow. So in Vegas, the house usually wins. But in our life, when we have an idea, it's not as risky as Vegas. If we just throw $200, nowadays you can get a website done for like $100. If you just throw $100, Vegas money, I got no expectation. I don't know, it may or may not take off, because the market will decide. You don't decide. But at least, you know what? Boom, it's done. I got the domain through GoDaddy.com. Now I got a website. That was Vegas money. That money was designed to be blown, right? But it's not as risky as Vegas, right? Because in business, there's a chance. I mean, hey, now you got a website. Now you're in the game. There's a chance, So we talked about delegating it. Don't do anything by yourself. I mean, this is kind of a generalization, but almost anything, don't do it by yourself. Get others involved. That's why I said earlier, can you join a Facebook group? How about 3 to 4 or 5 or 6? Can you join a meetup group? Does the meetup group have to be just here in Atlanta?
Make a call.
Please, just go outside. Right? Does the meetup group have to be just right here? Did you know you can join other meetup groups? All on the said topic that you're passionate about, or you're trying to make grounds on, right?
Yes.
So we can do that. What about LinkedIn groups? This is all like free. I'm just saying, like, free information. Try not to do too much on your own. Delegate. And then the fourth D, a lot of things we just want to delete. And we just don't want to do it, period. A lot of things, like, we just feel like, oh man, I'm walking around, I got this stuff right here I got to handle this. And I'm like, really, really take inventory of that. Do you really have to do everything that you said? Who's forcing you? Does somebody say you're going to get your brains blown out if you don't do this task? You're putting that pressure on yourself, but do you really have to do it? Most of us are going to, in fact, all of us, we're going to die with a list of to-do things on our to-do list. Like, we go to the grave with things that we need to, I got to do this. No one ever plans on dying, right? My sister didn't plan on dying when she was 45. It just happened. And we're all going to transition. And I bet you anything, my sister had a to-do list. Like, I got to do this, I got to do that. She's got 2 kids, I got, tons of stuff. But then my question is, a lot of that stuff really start to audit it and say, do I really have to do this? This and this and this. Like, so be very intentional about that. And if you don't, I would say delete it. Just delete it. Put it all in a big garbage bag, put that bag out of there, at least get it out of sight. Deal with it later, and watch, like, months go down the road. I really didn't have to do that. I got a rule. It's the 2-year rule. If I haven't used it for 2 years, I throw it away. Why should it just take space in my house? I haven't used it for 2 years. Whoa, it's a nice product. You paid a lot of money. I either throw it away or I donate it. But I don't want it to keep space.